We'll go ahead and start with the game statement from Coach and move to questions.
Yeah, two halves there. First of all, obviously, Creighton played really well in the second half, showed their versatility, showed their strength and length. Getting out to that 7-8-0 run, our defense disappeared in the second half. I loved our effort for the first 20 minutes. I thought we were connected. I thought we had some passion and enthusiasm. And then the second half, I don't know what happened. This back-to-back games in the second half where we just melted. So just talk to our men about that. We'll get better at it. We'll continue to improve. Obviously, we still got a long way to go. But there's 17 games left in the Big East. I'm going to continue to tell our men we got to continue to improve. We got to get healthy. It's unfortunate that we can't catch a break with our lineup, as we've had different lineups because of injuries. But that's not an excuse. Defensively, we have to improve. We're not going to win games if we can't be better defensively as a unit. The word collectivity defensively is so important. And right now, the game 14, we should be better than this defensively. It's an embarrassment the way we're guarding right now. It's an absolute embarrassment. So we got to address that and hopefully fix that before Saturday's game. I mean, we got to find a way to win a game.
Start with Patrick Stevens.
Just for some housekeeping, what's Jaden's status moving forward?
Don't know. It'll be day to day. He's banged up pretty good. So it's unfortunate that he's had so many different injuries.
The 3 timeouts that you used were all basically after spurts or easy layups or what have you. At what point do you just sort of kind of lose your minds watching some of that unfold?
Yeah, it's tough, and I think it's a fair question. I really do. Trying to make sure you hold your composure as the leader, and you go over these things in practice. It's not so much what we're teaching as a staff, what I'm teaching as the coaches. What are the players listening to? So, we'll watch some film. We'll get better over it. And again, you got to give Creighton credit. They started 0-2 as well. They were a desperate team. It's people look at Georgetown and say, we got to beat them, and that's a little frustrating itself. As we're building and growing and continue to establish our tradition here, it's frustrating when we're not playing the way we've practiced.
How do you think you go from a team that people look at and say, we got to beat them?
You got to continue to challenge your guys, right? I think you have to show some empathy and compassion for where we're at as a group, but also understand that you got to hold people responsible and accountable for the lapses that we're having. We're having some really bad lapses, whether it be a switch, the outside of our defense, some communication. We should be further along with that as a unit, and that's what I'm disappointed in.
And then offensively, I think you guys had 8 assists on 23 makes. Is that something you'd like to see, that assists go up?
Sure.
Are you guys sharing the ball? I know we're talking all about defense, but offensively, the connectivity lapses as well.
Well, again, not having another primary ball handler in the game definitely hurts. Definitely hurts your offensive rhythm, especially somebody who's dynamic that can, he can get 20 or 30 in a game himself. I'd like to see, 60 or 65% of our baskets be assisted. So that is a concern of ours. But, when you lose somebody like that over the course of the last 3 days, and we just got to get better, Ben. We got to get better. Definitely something we got to improve on.
In terms of defense, is part of it breaking it down to the studs and building it back up, reviewing what they need to do, almost like you're just putting your hands on them? How do you teach them that collectivity in such a short period of time?
Well, we have to. It's not how do we do, it's when we do. We got to. And we will do that. We will do that. It's frustrating, yet at the same time, there's a lot of basketball left to be played. There's a lot of teachings left to be had. We just got to continue to show them film, and little by little, hopefully we improve.
Your new 1-3-1 got you some stops. Talk about that.
It just, it's a zone that we played, and, probably should have went to it a little bit more, but it was, the other team's trying to win as well. They got some really good shooters, right? Again, we're playing against a top 20 team that was desperate for a win, and they caught us on the right day.
Marcus and then John.
You had a couple of long stretches where you just flat out couldn't score. You just talked about not having the second primary ball handler. Do you attribute that to not having that ball handler, not having a guy who can kind of get a play off schedule?
Kind of. I thought we had some decent shots, not great, but I thought we had some good looks at the basket that didn't go in. I thought we had some 10-toe shots that we normally make. A couple of those didn't go in. I thought we had a couple of bad turnovers early in that second half, so we missed shot here. Our transition defense wasn't connected. I thought we had decent shots, but again, they do a good job. They're one of the better defensive teams in the country, efficiency-wise and statistical-wise, and it just wasn't our day today, you know. But we're not going to put our head down. We're going to continue to battle. We're going to continue to fight. We're going to continue to encourage our guys to be the best that we can. We need everybody to stay behind us, and it's frustrating as our last couple of games we didn't play well in the second half. But we have a team coming in here on Saturday, right, in our building. I think it's a noon game. We need people to come out and help us get through this transition and help us get through this build. And everybody's like, well, Coach, you got to win for us. No, we got to do this together, right? We need the district, we need the DMV to come help us get through this together. It may not be pretty right now, but when it's all said and done, it's going to be absolutely gorgeous when it's all said and done.
How much is too much half-court offense? Is the defense not getting stops and not causing turnovers so you can play more out of transition as opposed to playing so much in the half-court?
Well, you got to get stops. With consistent, you know, if you're not getting stops and you're shooting, 60-something% in the second half, you're going to play against a set defense. So if you're getting stops and you're getting out in transition, it's a little easier basketball game. But if you're playing against a set defense, 40, it's, you know, now you need pros, right? Now you need some pros to play against set defense, or in an older group, a more established group, a more connected group, and we're just not there yet. Well, we're not there yet. Everybody wants the process to win right now. Everybody wants to rush the process of why aren't we winning? This is what we anticipated with some pain and some growth. But at the same time, we're still coaching young men. They're out there fighting. They got to fight a little bit harder. We got to be a little bit more patient with their growth and development. The process of transition isn't overnight. It isn't over a year. It may take some time. And patience is a word that people don't like to hear, but that's where we're at, and that's what we'll continue to talk about.
John Titel from Hoops HD. Last time out against Marquette, Rowan went scoreless. Tonight, career high 19 points, career high 5 assists. In terms of coaching young men, have you and your staff done anything special with them over the past 10 days? Or is it just like slow down and you're fine, or something else?
Breathe life into these young men, right? I think you got to breathe confidence into them, show them some film. Coach Battle does an incredible job with our point guards, and he's the one who is in charge of our backcourt. You know, Coach Blaney does a great job with our front court. Coach Thomas handles our wings, those responsibilities with them, right? You know, we believe he's a really good player. You know, again, as much as we have to score the ball, defensively, we got to do a better job. If you're taking the ball out of the net, it's hard to win games if you're constantly taking it out the net.
And when I think about your history as an assistant at BC, at Rhode Island, as a head coach at Fairfield and Providence, I can't remember any of those teams having the defensive problems that this group has had.
Right.
How jarring is it for you to be facing that problem? Not just that it hasn't come as fast as you wanted it to. But
I appreciate you. I do. I appreciate that insight. And that to me is probably the most frustrating thing I'm going through as the leader, because I feel like I'm letting my team down. Is it the instruction? Is it the coaching? Is it, you know, it's just something that we got to take a long look at. Because normally the teams that we've coached in the past, I think we've done a really good job. We may not have been the most talented team, but right now my team has to be a lot tougher. We have to be a little bit more physical. No, let's correct it. We have to be a lot more physical in this league. This is not a league that's going to be forgiving. Nobody's coming in and say, okay, we just want to win by 1. If a team could beat you by 100 in the Big East, they're going to beat you by 100, and they're not going to apologize. So we're either going to step up to the plate, or it's going to be a season where we're going to have to continue to improve. But we're not going to feel sorry for ourselves. We got to get better. Call it what it is. I got to do a better job, and every coach that's in this situation is going to say that. But the process of transition is tough, and it's not going to happen overnight. We need people to stay with us, continue to support us. We could win the next 10, we could lose the next 10, but we're not going to stop fighting. It's not going to stop improving.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.